sure you've heard 22.2 has been announced. We have an ascending ladder and descending ladder of deadlifts, guys at 225 and ladies at 155, deadlifts and burpees. Now I'm gonna hand you off to Coach Sean, and he's gonna run you through a warm-up.
All right, everyone, so 22.2 is here. It's going to be bar-facing burpees and deadlifts. The deadlifts are a pretty moderate weight, but really what this workout is centered around is going to be your back and that back flexion. So when we warm up for this, we're primarily thinking about how we protect our back and warm up our back the safest way so that when we get into the workout, our low back isn't going to start to fatigue quickly, and that's not going to be our limiting factor. So what we're going to start with is a 400-meter row. Go ahead and start rowing. What I want you guys to focus on when you go into your 400-meter row is in your back phase, I want you to squeeze your glutes and get a little bit more extension than you might normally. So focusing more on that back part of our pull phase, and then when we're setting up into your catch, I want you to focus like you're going into a deadlift, bracing through your core. So if you watch Anel, her spine is nice and straight, she's engaged through her core as she's catching, and then she's gonna squeeze her glutes. Imagine that you're gonna pinch the seat with your glutes when you guys come back. So go ahead and hop off that. Next thing we wanna talk about is going to be how to protect the back by loosening up and mobilizing. So most people have tight hip flexors. A good way to stretch out the hip flexors so they're not going to be causing back pain is called the couch stretch. So they're gonna get their knee all the way into the corner of this, and then once they're into position, they're going to step up, and it doesn't particularly matter if you can drive your shoulders all the way back to the post or not, or if you're staying down like this. If you guys also need a box to modify this position, that's totally fine. All we really care about is that our hips are getting fully opened. So you're worried more about opening that hip than you are about hinging your back. So where we should feel this primarily is through that hip flexor right along here, okay? So I want you guys to squeeze those glutes and then drive that hip open as much as you can, so we're opening up and elongating and alleviating the pressure that that hip flexor can cause. When your iliopsoas gets tight, it causes that rounding of the low back as you're picking up the deadlift. Okay, after that, we're gonna go to some bands. So first thing we're gonna do is a banded glute bridge. This is 100% glute activation drill. So we're gonna put the bands just above our knees, and we're gonna lay back and draw our heels to our butt. From here, what we're gonna do is bridge nice and tall, and we're squeezing the glutes at the top. So I want you to do a 1 second pause at the top, really focusing on getting that full hip extension, squeezing the glutes, and then don't overextend. So try to go as high as you can, and then arch your back big. So don't arch your back. We still wanna maintain that spinal alignment. We're trying to engage the glutes, not necessarily our low back through this. So when you're done with those, we're then gonna go into a clamshell. So you're gonna keep that band on, and you're gonna turn to your side. You're gonna drop your knee, your bottom knee to the ground, and then you're gonna connect your heels, and then all we're doing is pulling that band apart. So that glute bridge works your glute med. This is gonna work, or your glute max, this is gonna work your glute med, or the side of that glute complex. So when we're working this, we're focusing on how we drive our knees out in our deadlift. We're going to open up through the hip, again, elongating through that hip flexor and firing that posterior chain. So after we're done with about 10 on each side, we're gonna ditch the band and grab an empty barbell, and we're gonna start working on our deadlift position. So my two athletes are gonna grab their bars, and then what we're gonna start off with is a single leg Romanian deadlift. This is also another good glute warm up, but it's gonna help get through the position of the deadlift. So we're in our deadlift position. You want to grab that bar just outside of your shoulders. And then we're going to do a single leg Romanian deadlift. So we're picking up one leg and we're going to brace through the core before we start going down. And then we're going to come down to just below our knees and squeeze the glute to come back up. So a lot of stability work within this one. And what we want to focus on is that the whole time we're squeezing through the glute and engaging the glute, and then don't round the back, especially tight through the core when we're going into our Romanian deadlifts. After you do about 10 on each side, we're going to go into some normal deadlifts with our empty bar, but we're gonna focus on that negative phase or the down phase. So Anel's gonna pick up her bar, and so is Todd, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 3-second descent. So we're gonna come down 3 seconds. Notice how the first thing that they initiate is their hips going back and their core engaging. So you can see Anel's abs engage really nice because they're humongous. So when she goes back, she's gonna engage and brace, and then she slides right down her shins, okay? So if you come and look at a profile view, what you're gonna see is that she has a very vertical shin angle. So come back up, and now 3 seconds coming down. So right here is what we're focusing on. Go ahead and come back up, and let's show them a bad rep. A lot of people are gonna default to this movement pattern where their knee drives out first and they have to bump their bar around their knee. So if you feel like you're bumping the top of your kneecap with your barbell, what you need to do, come back up, is going to be slide your hips back first, make sure that you have that vertical shin angle, and then the bar descends down that vertical shin, okay, not in front of the knee. So after we do about 20 of those with that 3-second negative, what we're then gonna do is we're gonna go into our burpee warm-up. So starting with an inchworm, you guys are gonna step away from your bars. We're gonna do an inchworm with a push-up. So they're gonna walk themselves out into plank position. And I want you to pause here in plank position for just a second. And then we're gonna engage our low back by pressing the ground away, okay? From here, they're gonna go into a perfect push-up. And then they're gonna walk their hands back to their feet and finish with a standing position because that's just more glute warm-up. So we're gonna do 5 of those with a push-up. And then after that, we're gonna go into some burpee work. So the bar facing burpee is going to be getting down into burpee position and then jumping over the bar, but you don't have to jump up to get to your bar. The most efficient and fastest way is going to be a step up. In the open announcement, we even saw the fittest on earth, Justin Medeiros, doing a step up. I think that's a really big eye opener for the rest of us normal athletes, is that if he is doing it and it's a little bit slower than a jump up, we definitely have no reason not to be doing it, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on our burpees with that step up. So Anel's gonna go down into the bottom of her burpee, and then instead of popping up onto both feet, all she's gonna do is she's gonna press herself up and then step through and stand, okay? No jump on this one. All I want you guys to do is 10 burpees where you're just stepping up. So it's gonna be jump down and step up. It's gonna be slower, but if you're not used to doing that step up, then it does take some getting used to. So do this in the warm up and it's really gonna save you a lot of trouble. Another little tip I have for when you guys get into the workout is when you go into this, try to alternate your feet. So Anel's gonna do her bar facing burpee. She's gonna step up with her right foot and then hop over. And my suggestion is alternate your feet. So on the other side of the bar, she's stepping up with her left foot. The reason why we're gonna do that is because your low back is gonna get strained as you guys are coming up from that step up. What we don't want is just the right side of the glute to take all the load from stepping up 100 times out of the bottom of the burpee. So we're distributing that force a little bit more evenly, so hopefully we mitigate our back issues, okay? Good luck in 22.2, and if you guys have any questions, please make sure that you send us a message and you check out all of our other tips on YouTube and Instagram.
Okay, everybody, so let's talk about some tips for 22.2. First movement is deadlifts. So even though this is not a lot of reps all at once, it ends up being quite a bit, 100 reps total if you're gonna finish this workout. So I recommend starting to break those deadlifts up in about the round 6. So first, I would recommend doing a bigger set followed by a smaller set right after that. That way you get to control your heart rate and give your back a little bit of a break. So Todd is going to do 5 reps. He's going to start with 3. And then he's going to drop that bar, take a 3-second pause. You can count in your head so you know that you're staying consistent and not taking too long breaks. Then he's gonna pick it back up and do 2 more reps to finish that set of 5. Another thing for deadlifts, I recommend staying close to the bar, even when you're tired, even when you're breaking and resting. Don't wander away and take all these extra steps, but stay close to it so you're ready to go right away. Next thing is burpees, bar facing burpees. With those, like we talked about in the warm-up and how to get ready for it, I recommend stepping up. So Todd is gonna go into that burpee, and instead of jumping and wasting more energy, he's gonna step up into it and then hop over that bar. I also recommend you guys breathe on the bottom. When you're on the ground, take a breath or take a 2 count in your head, whatever that needs to be, so that you can control your heart rate again and not get too exhausted in those burpees. Okay guys, I hope these tips are helpful and that you're gonna all crush this workout. If you have any questions at all, you can ask your coaches or leave a comment below and we will help you out as much as we can. Sean and I are gonna get ready to crush this workout, so stay tuned for what's coming next.
How'd it go?
First impressions is that you need to save it for the last half. So once you get past 10, that's kind of like really where everything starts, because your back is going to be fried. There's no break for your back in the entire workout. So my suggestion is pace the burpees from the beginning, and then also Gage had a great suggestion of breaking up the deadlifts. I know a lot of people are going to want to go unbroken up until the first 10, and they're probably going to just be hanging on the bar with their fingertips. But I started breaking it up really early, and I'm glad that I did, because when I got to the 9s, I had to break it up by 3 sets of 3, and that was hard. I mean, that was like really hard to still get 3. So my suggestion is save your back, go slow on the burpees, because you're not, unless you're really, really good at burpees, it's not gonna be won by the burpees, it's gonna be won by the deadlift. So warm up your glutes, especially, if I had to do it again, I probably would spend another 10 minutes just doing glute activation, because that's gonna save your back. If you can get your glutes firing before you even start the workout, it's gonna help, because my back started to pick up a lot of the load halfway in. Once I hit about 7, it was super fatigued. So those are my first thoughts. And also, it's pretty terrible, but it's only 10 minutes, so whatever. You can suffer for 10 minutes.
Oh, no.
Said it all.
All right, first impression.
That was the worst. Just the worst. I think, like Sean talked about how to break it up and how to pace it, but also what I would add is just mentally you have to be ready for it. And like just get yourself in a mindset of, I'm gonna do this. It's 10 minutes of my life, I'm gonna give my best, and because you're gonna hit a wall where you don't wanna go on anymore, because I did, and you have to push through that. And in like, you're competing with yourself and you're pushing yourself and making yourself better. So it's not even so much about how well you do in this. It's just, you know that you gave your best and you did something that's really hard. So other than that, I think, yeah, even if deadlifts are not intimidating to you or you feel like this is a good weight, you can do that all day. In other workouts we do maybe sets of 20 with this weight and it's okay. This is not the same thing. Break it up. Don't be so stubborn to think that you can do it all and you can go hot and just be smart about it and pace. And if you have something to push at the end, then that's when you push it and get as much as you can out of it. So good luck, guys. It's gonna be great.